here and welcome back to another video. So today we're back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this Willow Creek village. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up in the gallery now. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1, and I'll also go ahead and put a link in the description to the online gallery if it's an easier way for you to download it that way. So like I said, this is a Willow Creek village. So basically what this is just one of these kind of multiple homes on one lot type of builds, and I've done a few of them in the past actually. And I'd actually if you look at the thumbnail and compare it to the last one I did, which was the base game village, which was actually built on the same lot, I kind of noticed that I kind of use similar colour swatches and they look actually kind of similar. How I finished them and everything though, I didn't really look back at that one. It's just how I kind of placed everything. So for example, this house here in the back right hand corner being on the hill, that's how I did it in the last one as well, just kind of unintentionally. But this one, what it's got is this house here, which is kind of like the bigger home, I would say. That's why it's on the hill. It's kind of grand and everybody kind of sees it looking at the top. So it's kind of just a big suburban home. There's also a slightly smaller suburban home, and there's also two tiny homes as well. Now it's up to you if you want to class them as tiny homes. Compared to like a 5x5 tiny home, it's definitely not that, but they are very, very small compared to the other houses. So there's also a little farm area. Sorry, I just hit my microphone. I haven't done that in a while actually, because I talk with my hands a lot. I always use a hit my microphone, but I haven't actually done it in a while, and I've just done it now. Anyway, so there's also, as you'll see from the thumbnail, in the back left-hand corner, there is also like a little farm area. So that's kind of like a communal farm area. So in there, there's kind of, the farmland where I did the stripes on the train paint. There's also a greenhouse there, as well as the flower arranging table, a few bee boxes, and a couple of other things as well. So that's kind of the communal area, as I guess you could call it, where maybe, everybody from these houses likes to garden, or they have their own like a little allotment space, but because of the limited space that each house has for their own backyard area, since none of these houses actually have one because of it being a smaller lot, so it's kind of like they use that in a way as their garden space. So if you watched Friday's video, which was the Brindleton Beach home, I actually said in that video that I was kind of getting a little bit ill and getting a cold. Well, just kind of later on from when I finished that voiceover, I got like a really horrible sore throat, but I had no other kind of symptoms for like a cold. It was like my nose wasn't running or anything, it was just a really horrible sore throat. So I kind of just thought I had like a strep throat or something, because that was the only thing that was wrong, and it kind of just got worse and worse as the night got on. I couldn't even talk by the end of the night, and then when I woke up the next morning, which was yesterday, I had a full-on cold, which is not nice, and I haven't had one in a while, so this one's been, a little bit worse. Because that always tends to happen if you're not ill in a while. I noticed that it's kind of much worse the next one you have. But anyway, so today I'm much better. Yesterday I couldn't really talk at all, so I was kind of getting very worried that I wouldn't be able to get this voiceover up. So I'm just got a chance now to get it done. Now my ears are kind of blocked, so I really can't barely hear what I'm saying really, so I hope I'm not like shouting into the microphone or anything. But I'm hoping it's gonna be better tomorrow, because I have to go out somewhere, so I'm hoping I'm gonna be okay by then. But I've had to stop this voiceover like 6 times already. I literally just done it then because I keep like stop because my throat starts to hurt again. I don't know if I just said, but my sore throat's actually gone today, but now that I'm talking, because I'm talking for like a long time at once, I'm noticing it's starting to like hurt a little bit, so I'm gonna try and take this voiceover easy so I don't end up giving myself another sore throat for the sake of a voiceover. But yeah, so we're just working on the first house here. Now, like what I've done in similar builds to this, where it's multiple homes in one lot, and where there are lots of different areas of it which are very repetitive, what I tend to do is maybe for the first house, which is here, I'll kind of just show you everything about it, or most things about it. So then for the the homes after that, if it's going to be something that's going to be repetitive to a house that we've done previous to that, then I can kind of just cut it out so you don't get too bored. So with the first house, I kind of show you everything, and then for the rest of the houses, I kind of just select things to put in which aren't too similar to one of the previous houses. So this home right here, like I was saying, it is the biggest one, and actually this kitchen area is pretty huge. There's a lot of different appliances, and also as well this island counter. Now in fancier sort of homes, I always tend to put the oven here in the island counter like itself, if that makes sense. I was going to say I'm doing here, because I feel like it looks a little bit fancier, I suppose. I don't really know how to describe it apart from that, but yeah, so I did that here. And I've always had this trouble, at least recently, because I've noticed I've done this a few times, where I've kind of noticed where I've put the oven in the island counter, but then kind of like, you know, that little backsplash sort of thing of the oven which sticks out a little bit at the top. I've noticed that sometimes it can look weird where it's just, you know, there and not against a wall. So I've actually started putting half walls behind it, and that kind of covers it up a little bit. So I hope my voice doesn't sound that bad on the voiceover, because I've just listened back to that little bit that I've just done, and I can kind of tell my voice that it sounds a little bit croaky. So I'm hoping that, you know, you don't mind too much. I tend not to do voiceovers when I'm like this, because I know it's not very nice to listen to somebody who's, you know, ill or something talking. So, you know, I might end up cutting this voiceover early, but I don't think I will. I don't know why, but ever since the start of my channel, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I've always done a voiceover for all my videos. It's maybe once or twice where I can only remember where I've not done one. But like I'd sometimes like, well, I just would not upload a video if I didn't do a voiceover for it. It's really weird. So I don't know why I do that, but yeah, anyway. So we're just working on these two tiny homes here. Now, as you can see, it was going to be 2-story homes. I didn't actually plan for them to be tiny homes. I was just going to make them, you know, similar to that other one there on the like the blue sort of coloured one that we're just working on. I was just going to make them like that, but I was kind of thinking, well, they're all kind of cramped closely together, and really when you kind of look at how big the actual spaces of those lots, they are pretty small. So I just decided to make it into two tiny homes, kind of just add a little bit of variation in it as well, so it's different to the other houses. And I suppose it kind of adds a bit more of a personality to this sort of build, I guess you could call it, because I don't really do that a lot with my builds. I keep all my builds neutral, so you can kind of put your sims into one of my builds, but any type of sim you have really. So I don't really do that a whole lot, but I'm kind of thinking maybe there's going to be an interesting sort of, I don't know, storyline with this. How there's loads of different families living here in each of the houses, and then there's maybe, you know, single people living in the tiny homes, and they kind of have, you know, that little farm area. So maybe some sort of storyline. I don't really know what I'm trying to say here, but maybe you can kind of come up with something. And yeah, so we're just working on a little bit of landscaping here. Nothing too, you know, crazy. There wasn't that much space, so I'm just doing a little bit there. Now, as you would have saw, that blue house there, the bigger one, the second suburban home, I guess, that one actually has its own garage. Now, none of the other homes have that because there just wasn't the space for it. So with, you know, like normal when I do a garage in one of my builds, I go ahead and change it into a gym. I just feel like it's a, you know, a good use of the space, so that's what I did there. Now, the garage is really tiny though, so there isn't that much in there, but there is still 2 treadmills and 2 other gym equipment items as well, which I can't think what they are, but so, you know, it's still more than enough, but it is a kind of a cramped room. But, you know, it's kind of expected for these type of builds. I did actually, well, I would have preferred to do this on 64 by 64, when there'd be a little bit more room to make the houses more of a decent size, like for all of them. But, you know, it's only Willow Creek, so the biggest one we have is a 50 by 50. There is also a secondary 50 by 50 as well. I kind of forget about that, where the Magnolia Park is, whatever it's called, in the middle of the world. Now that one's also 50 by 50. I don't tend to build there though, because kind of on the, you know how you can have like the outside of the lot where people walk by. So for example, that kind of like pinkish reddish sort of driveway going up to this lot. Well, in the other 50 by 50, it's a park area, so I tend to see a lot more people walking by, and there's no really like any driveway going up to it. It's just like more of like a public area, I suppose, so I don't tend to build there because I just don't really think it looks right. But I might do that, you know, in the future. I just always tend to go for this one if I'm going to do a 50 by 50. So the other thing as well about the little farm area there, I don't think I actually did that on screen where I did the stripes, because it is a very repetitive thing, but I've done that before in a build as well. So if you go back to the one that I think I did probably sometime towards the end of last year, I would say, I can't really remember, but it was called Amberfall Farm, and it was basically kind of like this with the stripes and stuff, but just on a much bigger scale. And in that video I kind of, you know, put more in the video of me doing the stripes if you want to know how to do that. But I'll kind of tell you quickly how I did it. So basically what you do is you just, you know, take a terrain paint. I normally go for the square one, that's 2x2 tiles, and I kind of just, no, is it 2x2? Or maybe it's 2x1 or something, I don't know. You can kind of just choose which size you want, and then kind of just do a stripe, and I keep the grid on because you can kind of keep it within the line. And then I choose a lighter colour, and then just underneath that do the same one, go back to the darker one, and just keep alternating it until you've, you know, got enough lines. That's basically how you do it. So we're just working on another home here. This is one of the tiny homes. That was pretty much all I showed you for that one, because unless I come back to it, I can't really remember actually. I don't know how I forget these things after a day, but you know, it's a fairly similar thing throughout all the homes. So if I don't show one of the things in one of the homes, you're probably going to see it in another one. So if you kind of see something that I could out, then don't worry about it, because you're probably going to see it in another home, because I kind of kept the furnishing pretty much the same. I kind of changed up colour swatches here and there, but kind of the style of finishing, as opposed to the better word. I kind of kept it, you know, the same throughout the homes, because it's all like on the same lot. I felt it'd be better to kind of keep them fairly similar, similar to what I did with the last multiple homes in one lot. Really kind of what I changed on the exterior between the homes is the siding or whatever wallpaper I'm using. So for example, today I chose a brick colour swatch and also a siding colour swatch, and then, you know, when I go to the next home I'll kind of use the same type of siding but just changed it to a different colour. So it's a little bit of variation, but also keeping it fairly similar at the same time. So this is another one of the houses here. I believe this is the second larger family home. So this is the one like not on the hill. I don't really know how to describe it, but it is again pretty similar. I actually really like this kitchen that I'm about to work on. I used slightly different counters than the other kitchens. It's kind of got a darker colour scheme as well, so it's a little bit different to the other homes. But I just really love how it turned out. And I also went ahead and used a cats and dogs table with some cats and dogs chairs, which I don't think I've used in a while actually, so it was kind of nice just to try those out again. I actually feel like I overuse cats and dogs, but then again there is some particular items in it which I just tend not to go for that often. So those chairs there, I don't really know why I don't use those that often. I've noticed I keep going for those jungle adventure ones. I don't know why I do that. It's probably because they kind of have a very sort of neutral sort of styling to them, which is unique to kind of, you know, jungle adventure, because there are some things such as the bar which has very interesting pattern on it which doesn't always fit everywhere, but the dining chairs do. So we're just working on one of the bedrooms here. Now this one is fairly small. It was actually kind of hard to get a double bed in here, but with Seasons we've got those really tiny side tables, so I went ahead and actually just used one of those, and I managed to, you know, be able to have the double bed, because, you know, I could have just put the double bed against the side of the wall, but then one side of it isn't functional, so I might as well just put a single bed in there. Because I'm pretty sure a while ago you could actually have your Sims kind of scoot along the bed, if that makes sense, so if it's against the wall two people can still use it, but I don't think that works anymore for some reason, but I don't know why they took that out. I haven't actually tried it, but I've heard people say that they have took that out, which I don't really understand, because I feel like that'd be a really useful thing to have. But anyway, so we're just putting a few plants in here. Now, similar to the last time I did that, which was the farmhouse mansion, which was last week's mansion build, I believe, where I also did a little farm area like that, I also went ahead and just put some, like, placeholder plants, I guess I could call it, just some random plants from, I think they're those dull daisies from the flower section of the landscaping. I just went ahead and put those in. If you don't want to actually plant your own plants, then it kind of still looks like there's plants growing there, so if you don't want to play with it, then that's fine. If you do, just go ahead and take those out and replace them with your own. So we're nearing the end of the build here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this voiceover up here. We're going to be heading onto the screenshots in about a minute's time, but to kind of save my voice from getting any worse, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this voiceover up here. So I really hope you enjoyed. In the comment section down below, let me know about what you thought of it. If you have any more suggestions for other builds or anything else you want to see next in the channel, that'd be really helpful to hear. You can go ahead and download this from the gallery. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!